name is Athena, and in this video I'm bringing you my March wrap up. In March I read 12 books and I had 2 buddy reads. Timestamps will be listed down below as usual in case you're interested in just one particular book. The first book I read and finished in March was Onzichtbaar, Onvermogen by Evelien Tersteeg. And this is a memoir written by an autistic woman. And I loved this. And at the time it was also somehow just what I needed. Now it's been a month since I read it, so I can't quite remember a lot about some of these books. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. And sorry if that's a bit brief. Yeah, my memory not the greatest anymore. So, I mean, not saying that it ever was the greatest, but it was much better than it is nowadays. Then I read volume 9 of Himouto Umaru-chan by Sankakuhead. And it's April now as I'm filming this, and I actually just read volume 10. So do I recall what exactly happened in volume 9? No, but I love this series, and yeah. So I've talked about this manga series before. This is about Umaru and her big brother Talia. Umaru in high school, she is just like seems like this perfect student, but at home she is lazy and she likes to play video games and sleep and yeah, I really enjoyed this manga, and so I also really enjoyed volume 9. The next thing I finished is a short story, which is why my Kindle is sort of, well, as like a placement, and it was called The Question of the Befuddled Judge by A.J. Copperman. This is a short story that takes place after the 5 Asperger's mystery books, and I got to read it for free because I'm subscribed to the artist newsletter, I believe. So I don't know if you can actually like buy this anywhere, but I really enjoyed all 5 Asperger's mystery books, and I also enjoyed this short story a lot. The next book I finished is a buddy read, and that is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I read this book together with Emily from Novelle Novels, and we both really enjoyed this book. This is book 1 in the Brown Sisters trilogy, and we're planning to also buddy read books 2 and 3 together. And this is, I don't know if you would kind of call it like chick lit or romance, but it does have some explicit scenes in it, if that makes sense. So only read this if you're old enough, let's put it that way. Which that kind of thing is not necessarily my thing, but I really like the rest of the book. So Chloe Brown, one day she almost gets hit by a car, and then she decides she wants to make some changes in her life, so she comes up with this list of things she wants to do. And Chloe has a chronic illness. She has fibromyalgia. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. Which I really liked that we got to see some chronic illness representation in a book and disability, you know, because we need more of that, and I absolutely love that aspect of it. I really like the characters and just the chemistry between, well, these 2 characters on the cover, let's say, without obviously spoiling too much, I really liked it. I really liked that. And it was also kind of an easy read, which was also really nice for me at the time. It was just my brain needed. It kind of cheered me up, and yeah, I really enjoyed this. Yeah, and you know, lots more people on BookTube have talked about this book, so I don't know that you want to hear my opinion on it, but there you go. I'm gonna try not to make this wrap up overly long, but we shall see. I would like to also make some more videos that I have in mind, but again, energy is an issue. I've not been doing that well lately, to be honest. I came off some medication and went back on a previous medication, and I've been feeling very tired since then. So, hey, this is me, Athena, in editing, and I just wanted to add to the bit about being tired, because I feel like I didn't explain it quite well. because when I said tired, it wasn't just like tired as in I need more sleep kind of tired. But I haven't had much energy lately, and it is causing me to have sensory overload a lot quicker than the day ends, sort of thing. It's just more a matter of when in the day is it going to happen, because it's happening like every day, and you know, some days it happens earlier on in the day than other days, and so hope you can see me alright. Just been struggling because it just, yeah, it's not fun. And when I have sensory overload, I can't handle much more input. So I'm afraid I've also not been the best friend to people, because I just don't have the energy and the brain power to, yeah. So I'm sorry about that, and I do hope that it will get better. It's maybe just a matter of me getting used to the medication, but I don't know. It's also why I haven't been able to watch much YouTube, because I just get sensory overload really quickly, unfortunately. Back to the original video. Anyway, the next book I read is Mijn, kwaadbloed by Melissa Kremer. Now, I have followed Melissa on Instagram for a while now, and I'm really glad I got to read her book before she passed away. She's been sharing her story on Instagram. She was young and had cancer. I'm really glad she got to experience that her book was launched, and that she got to, yeah, because she was just a lovely person, and I really enjoyed reading her book. So it's a memoir. It also has some poems in it that she wrote, and I absolutely loved every page of this. And it was really, it's nice to, yeah, just learn more about her. And the nice thing is as well, this publisher is not actually making any profit on this book. So all the profits of the book so the half of it goes to Melissa's family, and the other half goes to a certain cancer research. Not sure if it's organization, a hospital or something, but yeah. So when I learned that, when she announced she was writing a book, I had to have it, and I wanted to support her and her family. And yeah. She passed away on, I think, the 22nd of March. And I'm really grateful I got to, well, be a tiny part of her life and got to know her a bit. So yeah, I love that. The next book is, I think, the book I like the least this month, and that is Vals by Wallis de Vries. This is a young adult thriller from 2010. And this is about 4 friends who are going on a winter holiday together in a house in the Ardennes in Belgium. And there's a bad weather, snowstorms and stuff, and one of the friends disappears. The 4 girls, by the way, 4 teenage girls, and they're not as close friends, I guess, as you think in the beginning. And it's written from different perspectives, and I really liked like the first half of it. It's just kind of the end and the conclusion, not the conclusion, like the whodunit kind of thing. Like the end bit was just, I had some problems with it, but it's spoilers, so I can't quite discuss it. There was some, in my opinion, hypocrisy and double standards about the, yeah. I'm going to leave it at that. I did enjoy reading most of it. It's just that afterwards I started thinking about it, and yeah. So I don't know if I would have picked up on that in 2010, I don't know, but well. I got this for, I don't know, like 60 cents at a library sale some years ago. So, you know, I don't regret reading it, but it could have been better in a few aspects. So, but I'm not a teenager, so, you know, if that wasn't clear, if you don't know me, I'm 35, so, you know. Then I read What We Don't Talk About When We Talk About Fat by Aubrey. This is a relatively new book. It came out in November 2020, although it took a little while before I could actually buy it from here in the Netherlands and then have it sent to me. But yeah, I was looking forward to this book a lot because I follow the author on Instagram. This is here, creator of Your Fat Friend. So her Instagram is Your Fat Friend on Instagram, but it is YR, that's abbreviated, that makes sense. But anyway, if you can't find it, feel free to ask me. But yeah, I love this book. This is not, there is memoir elements in it, but it's also information, if that makes sense. Here's the synopsis, which I realize that's a lot to read. So this talks about fat phobia and, oh, sorry, the synopsis continues over here. For those who did pause and realize it didn't end. Yeah, I thought this was really an excellent book. And it also talks about intersectionality and racism, ableism, and the racist history of the BMI, for example, what it says here. I'm not sure that I can do this book justice really with just a few sentences, but I love this. You know, I realize people are on different places in their journeys of their lives, but yeah, I would highly recommend. But yeah, I can't convince my family about anything regarding that fat phobia as a thing, so moving on. The next book I finished is Unicorn on the Roll by Dana Simpson. This is book 2 in the Phoebe and the Unicorn series. And this is well, you'd call it a graphic novel, but really it's more individual comics. So it's not just one story in here, if that makes sense. I mean, it has the same 2 main characters, but like some of them are, does that make sense? Maybe not, but clearly I'm not all there today. So I really enjoyed the second volume. Just like the first, it's funny. And there is like an overall arcing story and things change, and I really like the art and the colors, and yeah. This is, I think, intended for older children, just to let you know. So like it's about Phoebe and her unicorn. So this is Phoebe, this is Marigold, they're friends. Marigold's a unicorn, they're friends, and yeah, stuff happens. Then the next book I finished is Potkin and Stubbs by Sophie Green, illustrated by KJ Mountford. This is book 1 in Potkin and Stubbs. Well, I don't know if that's the name of the series, but I hope so. And I buddy read this together with Julie from the Hungry Bookworm and Linda from Linda's Older Books. And this is kind of a mystery, but it also has some ghosty elements, because so this is Lil Potkin, and she is the main character, and Netley, that's this person, he's a ghost and he asked for her help. That's not revealing too much. This is a middle grade book, and as you can see the text is quite big. Well, I don't know if you can actually see that, but it was quite big. It was a quick read. I liked how atmospheric some of the descriptions were, and it has some nice illustrations now and then. Well, that's maybe not the best one, considering that wasn't the main character or anything. But here's the first one. So this is Lil, and then Netley is a ghost in her room. And I like this book. None of the 3 of us really loved it, but we liked it. Yeah. There were, not all the questions were answered by the end, so that might be answered in books 2 and 3, which I already own. Hang on. So here are books 2 and 3. This is book 2, which is The Haunting of Potkin, and this is book 3, Ghost Catcher. At least based on what it says on the back there. But yeah, so this was enjoyable, but we didn't love this as much as we were hoping. The next book I finished is Hungry Hearts, which is a young adult anthology, 13 Tales of Food and Love. It's edited by Elsie Chapman and Caroline Tung Richmond, and it's by all these people. And I absolutely love this. So there's 13 stories in here. They all take place in the same like neighborhood of Hungry Hearts Row, is it? Yeah, Hungry Hearts Row. And there's a lot of restaurants there, and all the stories are connected, which I thought was really cool. So a character that is like a side character in one story might be the main character in another story, if that makes sense. And they all take place in the same neighborhood, and I love this. I also really liked that we have many different like cultures and food from those cultures in this, which I thought was really great. So the town is in the United States, but I love that we had so many like characters of color and other cultures in here. Most of the stories are, I would say, I guess, contemporary fiction. A lot of them have romance in it. There are a couple that I would not call contemporary fiction, but it was fun finding out, and I really liked all the stories. And most of these authors were new to me. A couple were not, but I already liked their books prior to reading this book. And yeah, I really enjoyed this, and also the way the food was described and all of that. One thing I will say, there is also people eating meat and fish and stuff in here, so if you are vegan or vegetarian and you don't want to read about that, then, well, I've said that. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. So then we get to the second to last book I finished in March, and that's Disability Visibility, first person stories from the 21st century, edited by Alice Wong. And this has a bunch of essays, well, essays by a whole bunch of different people. So this is about disability, and it is an American book. I don't know if like all of the authors are American, but a lot of the people live in America, in the United States. But yeah, I really enjoyed most of these essays. And again, I like that they were also from different cultures. Well, it is also all sorts of disabilities in here. There were a couple of essays that didn't spoke to me as much, but I guess, you know, that makes sense. But yeah, overall I thought this was a really good read, and yeah, it's really nice to learn more about certain things, and yeah, I thought it was really good. And then the last book I finished in March, and I spent almost the whole month of March reading it, that is World Without End by Ken Follett. This is book 2 in the Kingsbridge series. In February, I read book 1, The Pillars of the Earth, with my buddy Berna from Berna's Bookish Adventures. Now, Berna had read this book on her own last year and didn't realize it was book 2. So I read book 2 on my own. It was a reread for me, actually, so that together we can read book 3 later this year, and also hopefully then book 4, which is a prequel. But anyway, so World Without End is book 2 in the series, and this was a reread for me. And just like we did in February, I thought I'd take the whole month to read this, and so I divided the book into sections of what I had to then read each day. In the end, I think I finished it on March 30th, maybe? Or maybe March 29th, like the last bit. I thought I might as well finish the book, sort of thing. So my edition of this book has 1237 pages. Which makes it one of the longest books ever that I've read. Not quite beating out like the top few, which for anyone who's interested are It by Stephen King with 1376 pages, the English edition, and then The Stand by Stephen King with 1327 pages, which is the unabridged full version. And then I think there's a couple of Peter F. Hamilton books in the 1200 plus. But anyway, this one was 1237 and it took me almost all the month to read it. So every day I read an average of 40 pages. But I like to finish when a section ends and stuff. So some days I read maybe 30 pages, other days it was 50. But yeah, it actually worked really well for me to read the book in this way and have like certain sections to read. Now, the characters in this book, the main characters, are descendants of some of the characters from book 1, The Pillars of the Earth. And of course, the cathedral in Kingsbridge is again here. But so this book is like so many years later, after the first book. So this is historical fiction. Sorry, I hadn't actually said that yet. This is historical fiction. It takes place in England, in the area town of Kingsbridge, and it kind of begins in the beginning with 4 children who witness something, and then we follow these characters throughout like a lot of their life, if that makes sense. I like some characters more than others, and yeah, one thing I found really interesting about this book, but I don't know if that is considered a spoiler, considering it doesn't happen until a bit later on, and it's not mentioned on the back, I think. But yeah, so I guess I won't say it then. But yes, I enjoyed reading this. I didn't love it as much as The Pillars of the Earth, which is the same reaction I had last time I read these 2 books. So I read both of them in October 2015, if I'm not mistaken. I actually started to read The Pillars of the Earth on holiday, and then I think I finished it off a while after we got back home, and then I started this one straight away. And at the time, book 3 I think at least it wasn't out. I don't know if it was announced, but I didn't know about it anyway. So yeah, this was an enjoyable read. I really liked rereading this. I will say I found that some of the characters were not as like I didn't connect to some of them as much as in The Pillars of the Earth, which there was different characters, but I mean, those characters were, I don't know, somehow more memorable or something. There's one character in here that was quite memorable to me before I started reading it. I remembered her, but like the characters in book 1, yeah, somehow are easy to remember. I don't know, but yeah, I like this. And then book 3. Book 3 is A Column of Fire, and I will be buddy reading this with Berna in one of the next few months, before I say something that isn't true. And yeah, interestingly, actually, my dad bought this book for me because this was some years ago when you could still travel, and for his work he had to go to India, and I think he was at the airport or something asking me, is there a book you'd like? And so this has got like a price sticker on it from, I'm not actually sure what currency they use there, but yeah. So, well, I just thought that I would mention that because that's just a thought I had with this book. So he bought this book for me, but then I thought before I read this, I kind of want to reread the other ones, the first 2, which has now happened. Yeah, so Berna and I will read this book together this year, and then hopefully also book 4, which is the evening and the morning, I think. But I have it on a pre-order because I want the like mass market paperback. The hardcover is already out, as well as the ebook version. But I like paperbacks, so my copy should be out in a few months, hopefully. Yeah, that brings us to the end of all the books I read in March. I actually finished some books in the beginning of April, but well, since I finished them in April, even though I read most of them in March, yeah, I tend to then usually put them in my April wrap up. So, but what I can do is quickly mention the buddy reads I have lined up for April. So I just finished Inkheart by Cornelia Funke, and I buddy read this with Laura from Let's Get Fictional, and we plan to start. We plan to start Inkspell after that. So we're gonna start this soon, although I don't know when this video is going to come online because I have to edit it and stuff. So this is Inkspell by Cornelia Funke. This is book 2 in the Inkart trilogy. So yeah, this is going to be read partially in April. Yeah, and then Linda from Linda's Other Books and I are going to read, buddy read Dear Reader by Kathy Rensenbrink. So we're going to buddy read this in April. And I won this book in a giveaway, which is not related to BookTube or Instagram or anything. But yeah, I look forward to it. And then my friend Sarah and I are planning to read Written Off by A.J. Copperman. This is book 1 in a mysterious detective mystery. So yeah, hopefully this will be fun. And I think that's all of the buddy reads I have planned in April, as far as I know at this point. There are more buddy reads that I'm gonna do this year, but I don't exactly know from all of them yet when. So, well, I just thought I'd add that there at the end. Like I said earlier in this video, I have been very tired lately, mentally, although also physically, even though I do sleep, but yeah. So I am behind again with YouTube, and like I feel like the last few days, although I don't know how it is by the time you're watching this, I've just had no energy to watch any YouTube. So if I normally watch your videos and I comment on them, then rest assured I will when I feel up for it. And I haven't forgotten you. I watch chronologically, so that's how I'm just gonna do things. But yeah, I don't know if this tiredness, how it's going to, if it's just me getting used to it with coming off and on medication, or yeah. So I don't feel like it was this bad a while ago, before I started the new medication, when I was still on the old one, and yeah. Well, thank you very much for watching my video. Leave a comment and a like if you like, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!